Hello everyone, my name is Aryaman Srivastav. The module I am giving the presentation on is Business Analytics and Intelligence, and the topic for the presentation today is Business Intelligence and Analytics Software that are publishing in UK. Let's start with the introduction of the presentation. The aim of this presentation is to analyze the yearly data of top 10 business analytics and intelligence software that are published in UK from year 2013 to 2022, covering at least a 5 variable for each company. The analysis will include and visualize the data with tables, graph, dashboards, and computing summary statistics to describe the data properties. Correlation and regression analysis will uncover the pattern and the relationship among the variables. Finally, I will interpret the finding to highlight the implications of strategic decision making and performing in the industry. Let's have a look at the trends. The annual business, there is a steady increase in the evident in the annual business statistics. The business grew gradually from 311 businesses in 2013 to around 900 businesses currently, with a prediction of over 1200 businesses by the year of 2030. The variation in annual growth rate exists in the annual business change percentage. It peaked at around 2014 at 15.8%, but over time it is steadily declining, stabilizing at 4.8 by the year 2029. This pattern points to an industry that is maturing, growing steadily, and changing at more predictable rate. The strategic choices ought to take this steady course into the account. Further, we will look at the product and the service segmentation. This is a breakdown of UK market share for publishing business intelligence and analytics software as shown in the figure. With the share of 35.7%, the customer relationship management software is the largest essential for handling the client's interaction and the data. Enterprises Resource Planning EPR software at 29.8, it comes to the second, the vital for integration of fundamental business operation. Software for business intelligence BI 16.4% of total utilized for data analysis and strategic decision making. The software for supply chain management SCM 10% is lower share, oversees the flow of good from manufacture to the sale. The other accounts for 7.7% symbolizes a specialized instrument meeting, particularly for the requirements. Let's have a look at the industry revenue and the future prediction. The sector has grown steadily over the last 20 years, as seen in the figure. The revenue grew yearly, beginning from 2013 at around 0.3 billion and reaching 0.9 billion by the year of 2022. At that level, it stayed steady starting at 2023. There's a notable increase in the graph at around 2028 to 1 billion, and this trend will persist until 2030, it is predicted. This pattern points to a steadily growing market with continuously constant revenue, which may indicate market saturations and idle reach. It is important for strategic decision making to take into account the UK's consistent growth in business analytics and softwares. Next, we'll look at the revenue generated in the major market. The banking, securities, investment industry lead the market for business analytics software with a revenue that exceeded that of any other industry, reaching for over a 350 revenue in a million. With a moderate revenue generation, the communication, media, and technology sector comes on second. On the other hand, the manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and the government entity sectors have comparatively lower revenue levels. The least amount of revenue is generated by the other category, indicating a significant variation in revenue generation between these markets. The graph that shows the revenue distribution among the sector visually helps to effectively illustrate this comparison. Number of employees. The number of employees the company employs count from 2013 to 2022, the data I have collected, are shown in the graph, including the companies like SAS, SAP, Click, Kinencata, Concurrus, MicroStrategy, TIBCO, IBM Services Center, Capita, and Linklaters. The vertical axis, which shows the number of employees, goes from 0 to 14,000 in the steps of 2000. The years from 2013 to 2022, the data I have collected is from FAME. And interestingly, some businesses continue to employ the same number of people over the time, but other experiences expands for fluctuation. There's a notable increase in Kim and Kata between 2016 and 2022 is a noteworthy trend. Let's look at the turnover of business analytics organizations. This chart shows all the business have had a positive turnover each year, with Linklaters having the greatest turnover in 2022, roughly around 450 million pounds. Although SAP had a least amount of turnover, approximately around 700,000 pounds among the 10 companies in 2013. Let's have a look at the descriptive statistics which I have collected for over 10 companies with the variable being turnover, profit margin, number of employees, assets they have, and the liquidity. The turnover represents the company's revenue from sales, which is crucial for assessing financial health and growth potential. The mean turnover is approximately around 94.6 million pounds. Profit margin indicate how efficiently the company converts the revenue into profit. The higher the margin is desirable. The average profit margin is about 5.2%. The number of employees workforce impact the size of the operational capacity and the resources allocation. The mean employee count is approximately is around 2134. The assets include the property, equipment, and the investment. Understanding the asset composition is essential for strategic planning, and the average asset value is around 31.7 million pound. Liquidity measures the company ability to meet the short-term obligations. The higher the ratio of the liquidity is the better for the company. But here the mean liquidity ratio is about 1.7%. Let's have a look at the correlation analysis. The turnover and for the turnover, the asset, there is a strong positive correlation for around 0.81 between the turnover and the asset. The larger the asset could lead to the higher sales volume. Liquidity and profit margin relationship between them is inverse, which is minus of 0.37. The businesses that have more liquidity might not have a large profit margin. For the number of employees, since the margin, profit, and the liquidity have somewhat negative correlation, it is seem that it seems that having more employees always translate into the higher level of profitability and the liquidity. Let's look at the regression statistics for SAS. The relationship between independent and the dependent variable is investigated using the regression analysis. The turnover is the independent variable, which is the X, and the profit is the dependent variable, which is the Y. Regression analysis reveals that the profit is impacted by the coefficient of around 1.8 for each unit increase in turnover. The marginal significance of this relationship is indicated by the p-value, which is around 0.05, and the true value of the coefficient is given as a range by the coefficient intervals. It is advised that they concentrate on the methods for raising turnover because it is favorable impact on the profit. So here are the key findings for today's presentation. The pandemic accelerated cloud-based software adoption due to the remote work and the cash flow disruption, especially in the business analytics and enterprise software. Growth strategies include the acquisition of companies like Oracle, transforming the industry, CRM leads the UK software market by 36%, followed by the ERP at 30% and SCM at 10%, BI at 16% and others at 8%. Business analytics revenue grew from 0.2 billion in 2012 to predicted 1.2 billion in 2030, with a significant milestones in 2015 and 2018. The banking, securities, and investment sector generated the highest revenue in the BI software, followed by the communication, media, and technology, while the manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and the government entities have the lower revenue. This is the conclusion for the presentation, and here are the recommendations. In the business intelligence and the analytics software publishing sectors, SAP SE is the industry leader. It is dominant in position, largely due to the strategic growth, significantly due to the software-related acquisition, heightened emphasis on cloud-based products. The business intelligence industry is being driven by the expansion of cloud software. To keep up with the growing scale of the remote data solutions, industry heavyweights like SAP, Oracle's, Salesforce are concentrating their efforts and making acquisition on cloud-based products. These are the references for this presentation. Thank you so much.